Boxing history is filled with legends who face defeat, injuries, or even retirement, only to shock the world with incredible comebacks. These aren't just sports stories. They're tales of courage, determination, and the unbreakable human spirit. Whether it was a young fighter bouncing back from a brutal loss, or an aging champion proving the critics wrong, each of these moments shows why boxing fans love the sport. Comebacks in boxing are special because they're never guaranteed. Once a fighter is written off, most never make it back to the top. But the ones on this list refuse to quit. They trained harder, fought smarter, and when the bell rang, they gave the performance of a lifetime. Today, we're counting down the top 10 greatest boxing comebacks ever. From iconic title fights to shocking underdog victories, these stories will inspire you to never give up. Let's step into the ring. Number 10. George Foreman becomes oldest heavyweight champion, 1994. George Foreman had already retired once after losing to Jimmy Young in 1977. He made a comeback in the late 80s, but few believed he could truly be champion again. By 1994, Foreman was 45 years old and considered too slow to compete with the younger, faster heavyweights. Then came his fight with Michael Moorer for the WBA and IBF titles. Moorer dominated most of the fight, outpacing Foreman with speed and accuracy. But in the 10th round, Foreman unleashed a single, perfectly timed right hand that sent Moorer crashing to the canvas. Against all odds, the referee counted him out. George Foreman had just become the oldest heavyweight champion in history. It wasn't just a win. It was proof that age is only a number in boxing. Next up, a fighter who shocked the world after 4 years away from the ring. Number 9. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler, 1987. In 1982, Sugar Ray Leonard retired due to a detached retina. Many thought his career was over. But in 1987, after nearly 5 years away from the ring, Leonard announced he was coming back and to face the undefeated middleweight champion, Marvin "Marvelous" Hagler. Hagler was feared for his power and relentless style. Most experts believed Leonard would be overwhelmed. But Leonard came with a smart plan, using speed, movement, and quick combinations to keep Hagler guessing. For 12 rounds, Leonard boxed beautifully, controlling the pace and landing clean shots. When the decision was announced, Leonard won by split decision. The comeback was one of the most stunning in boxing history. Not just because Leonard won, but because he did it against one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Now for a young champion who came back from a devastating defeat. Number 8. Lennox Lewis reclaims his crown, 2001. In April 2001, Lennox Lewis suffered one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight history when Hasim Rahman knocked him out in the 5th round. The loss shocked the boxing world. Critics said Lewis had grown overconfident and lazy in training. But Lewis wasn't done. Just 7 months later, in the rematch, Lewis came in leaner, sharper, and more focused than ever. From the opening bell, he dominated with his jab, keeping Rahman at a distance. Then, in the 4th round, Lewis landed a huge right hand that knocked Rahman out cold. The win not only regained Lewis's heavyweight titles, but it proved his mental toughness. He turned embarrassment into redemption in less than a year. Speaking of redemption, this next fighter shocked everyone with his return. Number 7. Muhammad Ali's return to the throne, 1974. After being banned from boxing for refusing the Vietnam War draft, Muhammad Ali spent over 3 years out of the sport. When he returned, many believed he could never be the same. After losing to Joe Frazier and struggling in other fights, Ali got a shot at George Foreman in 1974's Rumble in the Jungle. Foreman was younger, stronger, and had knocked out almost everyone he faced. But Ali used his legendary rope-a-dope tactic, letting Foreman punch himself tired. In the 8th round, Ali exploded with a quick combination, knocking Foreman out and reclaiming the heavyweight title. It was more than a comeback. It was the rebirth of the greatest. Up next, a fighter who fought through prison time to rise again. Number 6. Bernard Hopkins' late career magic, 2011. Bernard Hopkins was already a legend, but by 2011, he was 46 years old and expected to fade away. Instead, he shocked the world by beating Jean Pascal to become the oldest world champion in boxing history. Hopkins used his incredible ring IQ, defense, and conditioning to outbox younger opponents. Even after losing titles, he kept coming back, extending his career into his late 40s while still beating top-level fighters. Hopkins proved that with discipline, intelligence, and heart, you can keep winning long after most fighters retire. Now for a man who turned prison into a second chance. Number 5. Mike Tyson's 1995 return fight. Mike Tyson was one of the most feared heavyweights in history, but in 1992, he went to prison for 3 years. Many doubted he could return to the top. In 1995, Tyson stepped back into the ring against Peter McNeely. From the opening bell, Tyson showed flashes of his old speed and power. He dropped McNeely twice in the first round, forcing McNeely's corner to throw in the towel. While Tyson's later career had ups and downs, his explosive return showed that his aura of danger was still alive. Next, a man who literally fought for his life before returning to the ring. Number 4. Vinny Pazienza's comeback after broken neck, 1991. In 1991, Vinny Pazienza was in a near-fatal car accident that broke his neck. Doctors told him he might never walk again, let alone fight. But Pazienza refused to accept that. He secretly began training while wearing a neck brace. Just over a year later, he returned to the ring against Luis Santana and won. Pazienza went on to have more major victories, proving that nothing is impossible if you have enough willpower. His story remains one of the most inspiring comebacks in all of sports. Now for one of the most emotional returns in boxing history. Number 3, Arturo Gatti's war with Mickey Ward, 2002. Arturo Gatti was a fan favorite, but by the early 2000s, he was seen as past his prime. Then came his trilogy with Mickey Ward. The first fight in 2002 was a brutal back-and-forth war that showed Gatti still had heart and power. Though he lost the first bout by majority decision, Gatti won the next 2, proving he could still fight at the highest level. These fights revived his career and made him a legend of boxing toughness. Our next fighter made one of the most shocking returns to glory ever. Number 2, Tyson Fury's comeback to beat Deontay Wilder, 2020. In 2015, Tyson Fury shocked the world by beating Vladimir Klitschko for the heavyweight title. But soon after, he fell into depression, alcohol abuse, and weight gain, ballooning to nearly 400 pounds. Most thought he'd never fight again. In 2018, Fury returned to face WBC champion Deontay Wilder. Their first fight ended in a draw, but Fury's comeback story wasn't over. In the 2020 rematch, Fury dominated from start to finish, knocking Wilder down twice before the fight was stopped in the 7th round. It was more than just a boxing win. It was a victory over personal demons. And now, the greatest boxing comeback of all time. Number 1. Muhammad Ali's return versus Joe Frazier, 1971. While the Rumble in the Jungle was legendary, Ali's first fight back against Joe Frazier in 1971 was history in the making. Dubbed the Fight of the Century, it was Ali's first shot at reclaiming the heavyweight crown after his ban. Though Ali lost that night, his ability to come back from years away and compete at the very top remains unmatched. His resilience in this and later fights cemented his place as not just the greatest boxer, but one of the greatest athletes of all time. These comebacks remind us that greatness isn't about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. From old champions proving they still have it, to fighters overcoming life-threatening injuries and personal struggles, these moments show the true spirit of boxing. Which comeback inspired you the most? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing sports stories. Because in boxing and in life, it's never over until you decide it is.